for sure. I'm Chillah Rose, and I'm a music artist. I'm a writer, producer. I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Um, yeah,
Dope,
that's
dope, dope.
the
And
CEO of Black Music Company. I have a couple artists as well that work under me. Um, so that's pretty much the gist of things.
great, and I'd love to feature them too if they were interested. I'm really trying to, and I'm sure you've probably been interviewed before, but my mission is kind of to give that first interview, that first media experience to artists that, haven't been so lucky. So have you experienced interviews before?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a lot of interviews actually
Yeah.
lately. Shit, I've been kind of doing an interview down there every week. It seems like now.
Yep, yep.
Cool, you
Ex-
know what I'm saying? That means that the music and different things are circulating around me. So
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely. I mean, I
especially,
definitely noticed. So you got me. And, due to the virus and everything, I can't really be doing in person shoots. So, you know, whether or not it's audio only phone calls that were pretty laid back, now we're coming onto Zoom and utilizing this platform. So it's definitely a big learning experience for me. I learned how to use Zoom probably a couple of days ago. So, uh, I want to ask everyone, please, if you haven't, subscribe, and you can also find all of his links down in the description below. Where can people find you before we get into the thick of it?
I'm on Instagram at Chillah Rose. I'm on YouTube at Chillah Rose. All my social media handles are at Chillah Rose. I also
Dope.
have a web that you can click on, tap into and check out different things, get information, get different updates about what I have going on and things like that. It's still under construction a little bit, but it's up for now and you're able to reach me and contact me and like I say, get
Sure.
some updates what I have going on. We're just trying to make it a little better though, a little easier to navigate through. So we're still under construction, but it's dope
Yeah.
on that. chillarrose.com. So
Dope. And all that will be down in the description below if anybody's interested in checking it out. We are thankful for everybody that subscribes. It really helps us out, building the platform. Now, what would you say was your inspiration getting into music? Was it the situation that you were in? Was it friends? Was it family? Was it a specific artist? Like, what inspired you?
um initially um initially I had fell in love with poetry. Um that was my first uh insight to like, music or, art, if you will, in this sense. Um the poetry then led into me like, kind of like because I always like rhymed in my poetry. So kind of like led me to, the music part or the music aspect of it. I have family members also that were like really, really involved in the music scene, really like close to getting record deals. One of my cousins who I um, originally started with, he had a record deal, a couple big record deals, and he's had a decent music career thus far. Um, it's crazy because he's actually moving in next door to me right now too.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, I recorded my first record with him like 23 years ago. I was probably about 11 years old, 12 years old, right around that time. And yeah, my inspiration just came from that pretty much. I would pretty much say also that I do have like a very like musically inclined like family. Like a lot of my family members do music in one form or the other. Whether that's like playing instruments or um, dance or actually writing music, singing, just different things. Like I got a pretty pretty big music is a big thing in my family.
Yeah, and specifically about your city, what would you say is the community like? Because at least here, the majority of people that are going to shows and events are artists and industry folks themselves. Do you guys have like actual consumers or actual audience members, or even what I would say is straight licks. Like, do you guys have like actual audience members, or are the majority of people going to events and supporting also
Some
artists themselves?
some of us do. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it's like that around here a lot too. But some of us artists actually do have decent followings and decent fan bases here locally, that come out and you know rock with us. I know a couple artists that do very well actually.
Yeah. Because I know that's a big challenge right now that, since the barrier to entry is so low, all of those, let's say in the 60s or 70s or 80s, like people that would be fans, people that would be buying CDs, people that would be buying merchandise, instead of buying merchandise, they're buying microphones, right? And there's just not that economy that there was, at least from my experience in the industry. But I guess, a lot of it is about traveling. And I know now with the virus, the industry as far as, live events, because that's primarily how the industry makes any money. Is that what you've experienced? Is live events
Yeah,
or the play?
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so we're all kind of scrambling here.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
yeah.
'Cause, I mean, the music does pretty good, but like you're right when you say that because it definitely doesn't do as good as the live shows.
Yeah, and I would say live shows is number one. Then maybe number two are studio owners. Studios owners are making consistent cheese. That's kind of another route to go. The studio angle. So if you would tell us a little about the studio that you're in. Some of the artists, like the people around you that have helped you be successful. Talk on that a little bit.
Well, I'm in Chill Factor Studios. This is my studio here in the New Hope area of Minnesota, not too far from Minneapolis. Um, which is actually a part of a bigger studio called Winterland Studios. It's a pretty historic spot when it comes down to the music and artists greats such as like Prince, Lenny Kravitz, uh, J. Cole, Haley Steinfeld, Black Boy JB, a bunch of different artists, man. I've had Trippie Redd was here not too long ago. A bunch of different artists I've had the opportunity to run into and meet just from being part of Winterland Studios. So my studio, Chill Factor Studios, is actually my own area. And you're definitely right when you say that there's been a pretty consistent flow of money coming in as far as the studio goes. The studios are always up and down though.
Yeah.
Real like down, but it's been consistent throughout all the COVID shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And because, for me, before I started doing this, I worked for or helped develop a company called College Beats. And we had an opportunity to get Post Malone for a show. And then my partner dropped the ball. We had a pretty good price, like 60 grand for a show back in 2017. And so I basically went from like zero to Post Malone within 1 year worth of groundwork, building up goodwill. And then my partner came in and just took away all of that goodwill. You know how it is. I'm the connection guy. He's the money guy. And, but I digress. And then after that, we worked with 101.1 The Wiz, which is the only hip-hop station with DJ Jado. And we did 29 episode series of Freestyle Friday. So we featured 29 different artists. We did one cypher down in the basement of the radio station. But something that I learned that you may know is a lot of these radio stations, including Radio 1, they are non-profits. That a lot of these radio stations are not for profit. There's no payola. There's no real budgets for producing anything. That I was trying to produce for them a Breakfast Club-esque type of production, and the DJ only wanted it to be about him. That we had another DJ named Tropicana, and she's super, super dope. She's from Cleveland, so she's got that Cleveland plug as well. And Jado is also a regular DJ up in Columbus for Power 105. And they were asking us to come up to produce their Freestyle Friday, but they wanted to use a different DJ, right? And the DJ we were working in Cincinnati didn't want to give it up. And in my mind, wouldn't it make sense to have, multiple different hosts? Like, that would probably make it a little bit more live, right?
Hell yeah.
So we missed out, and we didn't get to go to Columbus. That the DJ only wanted to do it solo. But through that relationship, once again, we also got hooked up with Tekashi 6ix9ine. So it's kind of funny when all of that jazz happened with his manager over that $30,000 show that he was quoting, and that happened to be us. Yeah, that my partner dropped the ball on. So, and because my partner offered me a buyout, but he didn't give me the amount that I was looking for, that he was thinking I was going to walk away for nothing. So I, didn't have to sign non-disclosure agreement, so I kind of can be upfront about what I've experienced. But, so I had Post Malone for 60, agreed. I had Tekashi for 30, agreed, which is like half off. You know what I'm saying? Like, give me a break. What else can I do?
Right.
And so I've got the potential and I've got the goodwill. Like, I've got a good heart, I have good intentions. But unfortunately, sometimes good intentions aren't good enough,
Definitely, man.
Yeah. So I think that's my biggest challenge in life is I've got too good of intentions.
Well, you know what? That's I think that's mine too as well.
Yeah.
And one thing I learned too about that situation is that, that it just is who we are, man.
Yeah. I don't know if it may have frozen. And I think partly it's about long-term vision over short-term gains. That people like us will be successful in the long term, and people that, run over people have been run over in their own past, and they have their own environmental issues that made them have their own shortcomings. That the crew with Post, they offered me to leave College Beats. I had several opportunities to leave College Beats, but I didn't because I had an operations agreement. And that, I wanted to say years later that, not even, a Post Malone plug could, break my loyalties to a company that I was helping develop, right? So I am certainly loyal, to probably a fault, that I waited until the house was completely burnt down before I left the house.
Yeah, man, you should have done that.
A long time ago, exactly. But, and that's why I'm kind of reaching out more outside of my local area, to just kind of network with, similarly minded people. Talk to me more about that. Like, as far as your city's culture and community, like, how does business get done as far as features or DJs? Like, what's kind of the community? Like, are the DJ, does everybody get along with the DJs, or is there like a like some sort of war against the DJs?
I wouldn't say it's a war against the DJs. I would say that the DJs here do play like a certain amount of favoritism,
Yeah.
depending on one thing or the other, different relationships or different, different aspects. They play the favoritism role. I've also had some cool DJs that really looked out and really supported and just did it genuinely. Fortunately for me, I've had I've had the ability to pay for whatever I needed, you know what I'm saying, at different times. So I never really experienced the ultimate fuckery when it comes down to that. Because for me, like I say, if I had any type of static with the DJ or any type of friction, I just pay for what I needed, you know.
Yeah.
And so, but every artist isn't able to do that, and then those artists, have to fall to the wayside. But as far as like features goes, and just working with different artists, I've also been fortunate enough to work with every artist I want to work with. I'm very good friends with some of the dopest artists here in the city.
Hell yeah, dude. And that's a lot of respect. That's how it should be. That everybody should pay for their time. And I think that's what often gets misunderstood is everybody ends up expecting everything for free, and that just creates that warlike atmosphere rather than, in my opinion, look at something that's already working and copy it. Look at corporations. Corporations, a lot of people don't understand. A company is just a group of individuals with like-minded goals, right? And that's how we should interact with each other. That the only way that I'm going to be successful is by motivating you to be even more successful, because guess what? If you're broke, I'm definitely going to be broke. And if I'm not able to provide value add to this equation, then why would you even waste your time?
Right.
And the other issues that I've had, from a media and management standpoint is, and Adam 22 from No Jumper talks about this too, where, if you give somebody something that has never had it and then you take it away, you're getting death threats. You're getting, once I see you, it's on the floor, that all these sort of, and me, I'm not coming from that sort of background of like being threatened, so that also has kind of pushed me away, locally, because, bruh, artists are emotional, right? Artists are very emotional. Wouldn't you say that?
Yeah, I mean, shit, we got a lot of passion inside of us, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just natural, period.
And music isn't a commodity. That I went to business school for business management. I met my partner that owned College Beats in a marketing class. If his dad would have owned a vacuum cleaner company, guess what I would have been doing for the past 5 years? I'd be selling vacuums. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not the music guy. I'm the production, visuals, promotion. That, I saw myself as a CEO, not, a low-level videographer. Like, sure, I got to do this shit, but in reality, like, I'm capable of anything. Like, I don't really put, a title on myself, but I've also missed opportunities. Like, for example, I had someone reach out from QC, Coach, and his associates about, doing some touring. I don't know if I should release the name because they asked me not to, but in Capitol Records, their director called me and they said, hey, we're trying to get airfare information out of you. We're looking for an artist. And then in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm not an artist. Like, I'm a videographer. And then I drop the ball with the Capitol Records guy, and then I get on the call with the QC guy, and he's like, dude, you are an artist. Like, your eye is dope as hell. Like, we want to work with you. But I didn't connect the dots to where, at first I looked at myself from the perspective of I'm a consultant to the industry. I'm not actually in the industry, to now, 5 years later, realizing I guess I'm in the industry. I guess I've been lost in the sauce.
Yeah, this is all a part of the industry, man. All this shit. Even what we're doing right now. This is all a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's all I'm about, value add. So what I would also like to ask you is your latest project talk a little bit about that. Talk about any more short-term goals that you've got going on, like that Burning Rose. That was a pretty dope graphic.
That was yeah, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I think it's freezing. We're having technical difficulties here. I want to ask everybody, if you haven't already, please subscribe. You can check out all of his links down into the description. We are having technical issues currently, but I think he's back on now.
Can you see me now?
Yeah. So go right into it. Talk about your most recent project.
My most recent project, Rose in the Garden of Fire. That was a very collaborative project. I did a lot of collaborations on that album. Just to go back to your question earlier about working with different artists, the difficulties of it. It's not a difficult thing at all, really. You know, you're out here putting in your work, handling your business. You know what I mean? The guys that are, you know what I mean, on the same thing that you are, you know, they'll reach back when you reach out to them. This project was really a personal one, as most of them are, but this one was a bit more personal, just because of all the things that I had going on in my life at the moment, at the time of me getting this album together.
I think we're cutting out again. I do have us directly plugged into a Ethernet cable, but I don't know. It keeps on cracking out.
Yeah, I don't know. My shit looking good over here.
Okay. I lost your audio. But I think we're good now.
All right. Yeah, like I was saying though, I had a lot of different shit going on at the moment, at the time of putting together. Just a bunch of different, you know, personal life issues going on. So that's why I had titled the album Rose in the Garden of Fire. And also because I chose that album to, you know, do probably as many collaborative songs that I'll ever do on the project. It was just way, not too many, but like I never really do that many, have that many features on my album. I had 13 features out of 16 records. Don't get me wrong, it's probably one of my dopest pieces as well, but it was just one of them projects, man. I got a lot of records. I do a lot of records. I write a lot of records for myself and others. I got over 1,950 songs. You know what I'm saying? I got like 8 albums right now ready to go. I'm about to release another album, shit, in like 3 weeks, titled Locked In. So, I mean, music for me is just like, like every album, every project for me is like another piece to this puzzle. You know what I'm saying? It's how I look at it. So, I go into all projects with different concepts, different schemes, different modes that I carry throughout the entire project. You know what I mean? And I'm very thoughtful in my work like that. So yeah, I cook up a lot. So that Rose in the Garden of Fire album is actually doing pretty well. Came out April, doing well as far as the streams goes, and you know those numbers, and they're consistently going up. I'm about to release a few videos for it. My bad.
It's okay.
I'm about to release a few videos for it, a few of the records. Some of the producers I had on there are J Wig at J Wig Beats. I had at J Estate on there, a couple records that he produced. I had Mr. Parker on there, official Mr. Parker on there. Some dope ass producers, man. Some dope ass records. That was that was my dopest body of work until this next body of work I'm about to put out.
Nice, and we'll have to talk in a few weeks, and check it back out. Something that I've been wanting to do with, I've been actually requested to do it by an artist locally that had a budget. I was thinking of starting to do album reaction videos where we'd actually sit down, I'd queue up the album, and we'd go, song by song and kind of give a brief overview of the, whether or not there's a story behind it, or we could go over the beat and what we thought about the beat. And, even make it a 3-person thing with the producer and the featured artist, because I really think, DJ Khaled he's got a cheat code. And, as a consumer myself, I love hella features. So, that is what I've been telling people locally. Especially, because obviously I have the studio that I do, right? And so that's really what I've been wanting to get behind, is someone who is down with all those features, because it can get sticky. Because if one artist gets salty, he could take it down from iTunes, and then it would be a waste of time. I mean, have you dealt with that, where are all the artists tight with you? Like, do you have contracts with them, or how do you do that paperwork?
Like, they love me, so it ain't.
Okay, straight.
Get me wrong, like, we got our, our little splits and our little credits and all of that, it is what it is. But the people that I do music with, we just love to do music, you know what I'm saying? We all real ones, you know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be no fuckery, and nobody gonna be fucking nobody out of nothing, or trying to get over on nobody out of nothing. That's just never been my mode. And I'm like a big homie too, so like a real big homie. So like I don't I treat my people like I want to be treated. You know what I'm saying? I've always,
Yeah, if our whole society could just listen to that right now, hey, it should be common sense, but some people aren't raised to this. Treat everybody how you want to be treated.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's period. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm always there for my people. I do what I can for them. You know what I mean? So when I do reach out to my folks, it's always all love. That's all I give is love. I mean,
I feel it. I feel it, man.
I ain't taking no bullshit from nobody. And, people around here know that too. So like, it's just a respect thing, man. I love my people. I respect my people. So I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do by my people. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why a lot of artists are resistant to doing features, is that they don't know how to do the paperwork, or they don't have the proper respect amongst all of the artists. That you got to be like you said, you got to be a pretty big homie to like almost demand that level of obedience, in a sense. Do you think that that's why smaller artists are unlikely to do a ton of features, because there can be a lot of drama?
I mean, I guess it's all about where you at. I don't really have drama over here where I'm at. Like I said, I got 70 records. Yeah. I write records for people. I have people come in here and write with me, for me. I ain't never really had no real beef with no features.
That's great. That's great. Because
the people that find it hard to do features or something, or don't have, they either don't have the respect that's necessary, or they're insecure. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like a lot of people are more insecure than anything into it, for whatever reason. You know what I mean? But I always feel like putting that teamwork in, doing it together. I always felt like that would give us more. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm on my own, and I feel like this person is great on their own. I feel like if we put it together, then we could be,
Yeah, and that brings us into the last question as far as long-term vision, and that's what it sounds like it is. It's all about teamwork, and I think one of the biggest challenges in today's society is that everybody wants to be the boss, and nobody wants to play a team player, and without team players, nothing ever happens. Yeah, sure, you can have everybody can be strong, but there needs to be a leader. That these olden days of, you know, the one boss up at the top of the tower or the building or whatever. Like, that's how shit runs. You know, not everybody can be that boss.
The thing about the thing I've learned also about this life and this music and just, you know, coming where I come from, you know, the hustling, the streets and shit. The boss never says he's the boss. The boss is not even in the race to be the boss. The boss is always just the boss. If that makes sense.
Aha. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've never been around like the people that says they're I'm a boss and all this other shit, they're like little guys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They're having, you know, struggle issues to me, like control issues, because like the real bosses who have the real paper, who make the real moves, who they cut checks. You know what I'm saying? People make money off of those people. You know what I mean? They make shit happen. They make shit shake. They don't have to say I'm the boss or I'm trying to be the boss. You know what I'm saying? I don't really hear that from real bosses. Like I don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I mean, the guys that's fighting to be the boss, man, they got some like real man issues or something. I don't know.
And this is what people need to hear. You know, that I think people need to hear this. You know, that if you are in a group of people, you know, let the leader lead, you know, and be supportive, you know, and don't cause drama. Because I think, you know, from my own experience, you know, working with College Beats, they primarily promoted copyrighted material. So when I met him, I said, hey, I'm going to go into the city, I'm going to go do some groundwork and pick you up some original content so we don't get suspended, right? And to this day, he never posted any of that original content that I found, right, of all of these original artists. So I had to go through the trenches in order to build up the goodwill to produce all of this original content, and then the company that I was doing it for didn't post any of it. But, like I said, I had to go through all of those trials and tribulations and that groundwork. So that's just where I'm speaking to, that I really haven't, you know, I may know, you know, one or two real bosses, maybe, but I just that hasn't been my environment. So that's why I'm talking to people like you, and I'm reaching out outside of my city, because I really haven't found, you know, that leader, that selfless type of leader, you know, because at the end of the day, when you're a leader, you're only as successful as the guy next to you. And if the guy next to you isn't successful, then you're not going to be successful. You know, that the way that I define success, you know, you can be successful yourself. That's easy. But can you replicate it and do it again, or do it 3 times or 4 times? You know, that how many people are you able to help?
And see, that's always been my thing too. Like, you know, putting it all together. And I've always been like that since a shorty. You know, I started hustling at a young age, and that was always my thing. Like, I've always been the one to make the most money or the most moves, but I always brought it all to the table and split it up with my guys. The thing about being a leader or being a boss, quote unquote, you know what I'm saying, is this. At the end of the day, a good leader is going to always do what's best for the team, period. You know what I'm saying? It's not always the boss's way. A real boss is going to listen, you know, and do what's best for everybody, even if that's his idea or the next person's idea or whatever have you. You know, that's the definition of a real leader, a real boss to me. You know, doing what's best for us all, not what's best for me. You know what I mean? Doing what's best for us all. You know, I've never sat down at a table and ate by myself, you know, period. I've been, you know, backstabbed a lot, ran off on a lot of people, old bread, all of that shit, you know what I mean? That happens a lot to me. And I don't go in the corner with my bread. I don't go in the corner with my moves. I come right back to the table. Now, don't get me wrong, them same people probably ain't sitting at the table, but I come right back to the table again, looking to do it again. I never wanted
Yeah,
to be
reinvest. Yeah.
period. never want to build by myself. That's like you just said. Like how do you define that or consider that success? You know, that's personal. Yeah, you got a little personal gain, maybe. You know what I mean?
And then
But
you're gonna lose that team around you.
the real fruit is
Yeah.
when you can make around you bigger and better. You know, and that's the real goal. You know what I mean? How can I make us all super live? How can
Yeah.
we all break? You know what I mean? That should be the goal. And everybody can't. And that's another thing about it. Everybody can't be that either. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a lot of strength. You know, mentally, emotionally. You know, everybody can't eat those
Financially,
financially.
financially,
For
and I
sure.
think that's the biggest thing that has been a disillusion for me. Like, in talking on, my lack of experience, that, I thought I would just come in and be like, hey, I want to help everybody, and everybody would just listen and fall in place. And that's not what happened. That it's like you can have the greatest, amount of experience or the greatest amount of money, but if you don't have that respect, if you don't have that, mutually assured success, like mutually assured destruction, right? Mutually assured success. And I think it comes down to that. So we really covered a lot of the long term stuff. I don't know if you had much of an opportunity to check out my content, but do you have any questions for me? I'm going to throw it to you.
Nah, man.
It's cutting out.
You back
Okay.
on?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
That idea you had about slicing through the albums and really like breaking them down with a team of people. I think that's a dope idea, and I definitely would love to see something like that shape. You know, and
Yeah.
if you do work on getting that off the ground or something, man, or need some assistance of any kind that I could be, reach out to me, let me know. I love to
Yeah,
try to
and
help.
we could also have it presented by your studio as well. That I could create your own series, that because you have probably a much more refined opinion yourself. So I could even assist you to help produce it as well.
Yeah.
We didn't really cover this, but who around you, as far as videographers, photographers, talk a little bit about that.
I got a team of definitely. I got a team off of videographer. He's super dope. My director, he's super dope. We shot a movie together, and he definitely does all of my major film work, my major
Do you know what
video.
kind of camera he's got?
He uses the Sony 3 and
A7 III. Okay.
and it's another one too. We're also gonna grab this C200 as well too. Just raw
Nice.
footage. But other than that, I got two photographers. My sister is my main photographer, and I have another photographer as well. And then I got, like I say, everybody in the city that's doing shit, man. I'm pretty much connected with it. They're not directly connected with me.
Yeah, a step away or two.
Yeah, it's easy,
Um,
but those are the people that are directly right up underneath me. And that's Camera Girl Chelsea at Camera Girl Chelsea, and at J J Rose J Rose at J Rose and at Philadelphia's Media as well. So
dope,
uh,
dope.
check that out. Check out their work. They're dope as hell. And you
What's
could just go down
Yeah,
to
I'll
my
put
Instagram.
everything that in the description as well. Dope. Um, what sort of do you guys have, like, production studios in the city, as far as like green screen cycloramas?
We got some small ones like my videographer. He has a small, decent one, nice size one. We're looking to build one actually. Nice little. I'm pretty sure there's some spots around here, but as far as that,
Yeah, Because you see, that's what I'm building currently as well.
And I ain't really big on the green screen shit. I may get on that soon.
Well, it all comes down to who you're working with as far as animators. That's what's important. I mean, the reason why you would use a green screen is based on what type of animator that you're working with.
For sure.
And I've got a couple locally. Lunar Thought, shout out to him. You know, he works with Steve Cannon a lot. And Season, which is one of Juice WRLD, you know, R.I.P. Juice WRLD, but one of Juice WRLD's artists with No Limit, named Season. And so he's doing his videos, and so he's one of my animators. And I've got another guy out in California that I just met that lives on Hollywood, and he's an animator as well. So, you know, obviously growing the animators, and it's kind of hard because, you know, over the past 5 years, I've developed all this momentum, and then I left College Beats, or, you know, was pushed out of College Beats because the artists that I had developed relationships with started running around my partner to all the bar owners to get connections, right? And the artists thought that they were benefiting me. But my partner didn't invite me to any of the meetings, and he didn't include me in any of the deals with the bar owners, right? And so overnight, we had like 4 DJs and 4 or 5 residencies, you know, making, you know, a good amount of money every week. And I wasn't included in any of that after the artist that I had connected him with showed him around in order to benefit us. And so I had to leave.
That's crazy, man. You gotta pay homage, man.
Yeah. Karma. I've got a lot of built up good karma, man. Like, I'm sitting on like 3 life worth of karma. Like, I'm happy. You're breaking up.
You got your internet right too.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it plugged in with the Ethernet through the Thunderbolt, but I don't know what the problem is with it. Maybe I need to go directly into the router and just get like a 100-foot cable or something. But like I said, dude, this is the second time I've ever used Zoom. So
I know. That's dope, man. I'm glad you reached out, man.
Absolutely.
To do the interview, man. And like I say, man, we should definitely talk more about that move, what you just said, man.
Yeah.
That'll be put together, man. That'll be something real dope to put together. I'd love to do that, man.
Yeah.
And it'll also more awareness to, you know, the different artists and the different artistry, man.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think we talked a lot about, you know, things that people can use, and I want to thank you for coming on, and I want to ask everybody, if you haven't, please subscribe. If you're an artist and would like to get featured, definitely comment below. Follow all of his links down in the description. Definitely check it all out. Thanks for coming out, and I will be editing this today and putting it together, and then once I send it to you, just throw up a story with a swipe up link, and then we'll be set. You know, my turnaround is pretty crazy.
All right, man. Let's do it, man. Thanks again for having me, man. It's been dope.
And we'll do it again on this next project coming out, too.
For sure, man. I'm going to play y'all some shit next time, man.
Well, I mean, do you want to play anything now while we're still on?
Shit, I can play something.
Yeah.
Let's be here.
Let's see how the audio is, because this is kind of a test. Because I don't know if we can just do this through Zoom or how we'll want to produce this.
Oh yeah, we can. I've done some shit on Zoom, like with a few different people on there at the same time.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're able to hear all of the same shit.
Yeah, let me see what the sound sounds like. And whether or not I keep this in or not, we'll see. But I mean, I like having long podcasts, because that's the dope thing about a podcast. Podcasts can be as long as you want. You know, like, I can talk. You know, obviously I'm a talker, as you can see. And a goon. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, let's see what that sounds like.
Yeah, I'm tapping in here right now.
What sort of studio monitors do you use? Yamahas or
I got the Yamaha H8s.
yeah yep, yeah, those are the big boys.
I got some personas too for my smaller joints from fives.
I'm gonna go
This
quick.
right here is from my this is from my new album titled Locked In. This is my fucking it's my intro for the new album. This record was produced by DJ Cam Bennett. We did a whole album together. This is actually a surprise album that me and him put together. I rapped on our records and shit. So this is the intro. It's called Nobody. I planted some seeds in the streets and trying to be all I could be. I did that for me and the team. Now I'm as real as I see. All that I needed was me. I seen what I needed to see. I planted some seeds in the streets and trying to be all I could be. I did that for me and the team. Now I'm as real as I seem. Now this shit feel like a dream. I got so the same. I try to control all my demons, but niggas be plotting and scheming. These bitches be switching like seasons. They couldn't even tell you the reason. But niggas gon' learn how to see it, and they gotta pay for their trees. I gave them something to believe in, something to believe when no one believed. I fed them the moon with people, and now niggas don't even see them. But when I do better, I'ma treat them. If right where you stand, I'ma leave them. But I never bought with this beat. With this beat, I'm a shark, I'm a beast. This shit just helping my team. I made my mark in the streets. Ain't never really need nobody. I didn't need I got it. Forever didn't need somebody. Never ain't see nobody. I know this is me and my problems. That's why I don't believe nobody. All this shit in my body. You know I had to leave my body. Before I ever need
Just
somebody.
straight bars. It's just an entire song of bars. It's an entire song of bars, man. Like you're just it's that poetry, right? Yeah, I can feel it.
Bitch, I'm the kid in the streets. I never conceded defeat. And they never treated my G. They know I'm as real as can be. And it feel beautiful free. So all of the real ones can be. But niggas ain't real as you think. They come around just to eat. But never around where you need. We'll sit your ass down on your knees. And watch your ass round in the beat. Same nigga calling you brother. He gave his word to your mother. But he ain't your motion discovery. That's what most of these niggas is suckers. And niggas be moving like cuckers. But that's why I move like a trucker. And you niggas move like a usher. Cause most of them lacking instruction. They don't know they have to instruction. And with that we can wrap the discussion. Fuck all the cash and bust. Ain't need a many ways to strike. Ain't never really need nobody. I really need I got it. Forever didn't need somebody. Never ain't see nobody. This is me and my problems. That's why I don't believe nobody. All this shit in my body. You know I had to leave my body. Before I ever need somebody. I ain't never need nobody. Now I never need nobody. Fuck around, treat somebody. But I'm trying to be somebody. Somebody gon' be somebody. Somebody won't need nobody. Nobody never need nobody.
Wow. Yeah, that's a vibe and a half.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate
That's
that.
like that's the type of song that you actually can listen to. Like that's like a like I said, it's like basically like poetry, basically.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, this next album I'm about to release, man, it's special, man. It's special, bro. I'm telling a real story, man. I had a real situation that I just went through in my life that I'm actually going through at the moment. So you better hear it all in this music that I'm putting out right now. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, and we'll be previewing that soon. So I want to thank you again for coming on, man.
Thank you, man. Reach out, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll get back. We'll see you soon.